Today's podcast is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo. I recently joined as a member, and you can too. Apply today to become a member and immediately be connected with the advertisers that fit your audience. That's podgo.co at podgo.co.
And please put unprofessional development in the "How did you hear about Podgo?" That will give us a little finder's fee. Thank you. Hello, unprofessionals. So as you know, now we're doing real commercials, not just the silly ones that we normally do. So today I've got with me my daughter Micah. Say hello, Micah.
Hi.
She has an Etsy account. It's called what?
Roo Makes Bracelets.
Roo Makes Bracelets, okay? We'll put a link in the show notes for you for sure. So she makes some friendship bracelets. She even has one that is kind of an unprofessional bracelet, where she's made the unpro letters in the bracelet. So if you need a bracelet, go to Roo's Bracelets. Anything else you want to say about your bracelets?
No.
Okay. But she's a little kid. She's 11 years old. She's entrepreneuring. You know, support her. And go to Roo's Bracelets. Click the link in the show notes. Thank you. Say goodbye, Micah.
Bye.
Unprofessionals, we need your help. Mealey and I keep trying to explain to the world how special we are, but they won't believe us. Here's what you can do. Check in the show notes for the link to the People's Podcast Awards. And please nominate us so the rest of the world can realize exactly how amazing we are. Enjoy!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Unprofessional Development. Well, I'm Tudisco.
And I'm Mealey. And there's nobody else. Just the two of us. Okay. We know you love us. You know, sometimes you're like, those stupid guests, they just get in the way of Mealey and Tudisco saying funny
Our
and
natural charm.
Exactly.
Our joie de vivre.
Yes.
Our je ne sais quoi. Our escargot.
Yeah. So you are in the VIP section now. Just
That's
us.
right.
So,
it's just us. We're both enjoying $1 million glasses of not alcohol, but fruit punch, and we
Sure.
both have white Bengal tigers.
Sure. That reminds me of something like unprofessional that I used to say to my students, and I still say to my students, I guess, but not when we're not in person. They would ask me for like $1 or 50 cents for lunch or something like that. I'm sure you've had kids ask you for money, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I go, oh, sorry, all I got is 50s and hundreds.
Wow.
And then I just turn and walk away like I didn't say it, and they don't know what to do at that point.
Man.
So that's good stuff.
My kindergarten teacher used to say the same thing.
It's good.
You have any money, Mr. Tudisco? Oh yeah, I'm making that teacher money.
Yes. I also told them, like, they would sometimes ask me, so how much it would cost to get an A in this class? Have you gotten that question before?
No.
No, they would, so what would I have to pay to get an A in this class? And I would always tell them, I'm like, enough money that you wouldn't need to, if you had that kind of money, you wouldn't buy an A with it. I said, I need to be able to retire because I will get fired. So if you can put $3 million in my bank account in the Cayman Islands, we're good.
Yeah.
I said, but if you had $3 million to put in my bank account, you don't need an A in this class. You're good. Yeah.
Right, because then you're going to talk to their next teacher anyway and say, that kid gave me $3 million. And then they're going to ask for the same or more,
Right.
Stuck in the whole negotiation loop.
All right, so guys, we're just going to catch up with the unprofessionals. We'll call this segment. Do we have segments? We do now.
Mealey, I don't even know if I know how to just have a conversation with you alone anymore. It's been so long.
So tell me, what's been going on in Tudisco world? So
in virtual land.
Yes, Tudisco is back into middle school. So he was a middle school teacher now, then a high school teacher, now back into middle school. When we're recording this, we're about a month deep into fully virtual education now.
Well, I do like the jump. I love teaching middle school. It's not for everybody. It definitely takes different skill sets, but it has helped me get a lot of perspective So, this year with virtual learning and whatnot, I have a lot of, kids and parents who are really, really stressed out. As expected, kids, their parents want them to do as good as possible.
Yes.
And in the back of my mind the entire time, I'm just thinking, like, I was just teaching seniors where my grade determined whether or not they graduated. I don't really care what you get in 7th grade English, and neither does the rest of the world.
No.
Learn something. That's
Yes.
our goal. What, do you want to be? Fine.
Have you found a lot of feast or famine? It seems to me that my kids' grades, yes, that it's like, it's A's and B's and like F's and maybe a few D's. And then it's either you're doing it, you're getting a good grade, or you're not doing it at all, and then you're failing. Is that kind of what your experience?
In my class, are definitely either thriving or drowning. Like, absolutely. Even in terms of like test grades. Like, I gave them a test the other week, and they had a study guide. You remember middle school tests. And now that everything's online, it's not like I can say, all right, kids, close your books.
Right.
So everything's open book. Everything's open study guide, because otherwise we're just penalizing the kids who are following the rules when anybody can cheat. So we're just opening the doors for you and saying, cheat.
I literally
vocab questions, and you can look up words in your dictionary.
There you go.
Kids either aced it or bombed it, and that was it.
I literally, it's kind of drifting off into the tips, but, I'm using Edpuzzle a fair amount, and which I really, really love, and I think we've talked about it before, but Edpuzzle is basically where the kids have a YouTube video-ish thing, but they stop along the way and they have to answer questions, or sometimes there's notes and whatever is along the way. And like, so my test is broken up into, sections, something that's known as like parallel assessments, and makes you sound really smart when you say that. But anyway, there's like 4 sections of it, and each section has like 3 or 4 things they're supposed to do or answer, or, problems or whatever. And the kid's like, well, I'm struggling, with these last 2 questions. I'm like, well, stop what you're doing, go watch the Edpuzzle again, and then try and answer those 2 questions. And that's fine. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, just do that. I'm like, there's no reason for you not to do that. I want you to learn. And, there you go. So, that's kind of how I'm handling that piece. Yeah.
Right. And then, I have tons of kids who have, tech issues.
Mm-hmm.
I have kids who I've still never seen, because they still don't have internet, and we're trying to work with home.
Yep. Yep.
I have one child who has no internet, who has some special needs, and who doesn't speak English.
Wow.
So I'm thinking I'm just going to hand them a C and move on with my day. I don't like what. There's no way I can teach that child at this point.
Yeah.
That is not a feasible thing.
Well, a friend of mine, on her, that's in a hybrid situation where they're in another, state, and where they've got some kids in person and some kids online, which to me, I can't even imagine. I'm scared of that, because we're going to be at that situation at some point, possibly. But, got a new student, and the student is blind, and they're learning online. I'm like,
I was thinking about that.
And they're teaching them 3rd grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. Like, I cannot come up with a single lesson plan for that. I don't know. You're on a screen and you're blind. Okay.
I'm so interested in, like, what do you do with students who are blind or deaf, and what do the teachers who are blind or deaf do? Because we definitely have, teaching colleagues out there in the world who are blind or deaf, and they still want to be the best teacher they can be. I mean, I can't even begin to imagine what that process is like.
I don't know. So we don't have any tips for that. Yes.
My tip is good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what stinks the most about virtual learning, honestly, and there's, the equity issues. There's kids who are not learning at their pace. There's a struggle for kids with ADD. But I think the worst thing is movie days are just impossible. I mean, I can't even show a movie to the class if I'm just feeling burnt out one day.
No.
What am I going to say? Go to Netflix? They don't all have it.
No. You just share your screen, Tudisco. Duh.
But I can't figure out how to share the audio when I share my screen.
Oh. Okay. On Zoom?
I use Zoom. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you, here's going to be a tip. Okay? Okay. So, when you share your screen, in the bottom, because I had this issue, because they're like, I showed them a video, it's like a 3-5 minute video I show at the beginning of every year, And
none of them can hear it. They just
none of them
see
can
the
hear
video.
it. So there is a button at the end, at the bottom of the share thing on the bottom left-hand side that says share computer sound.
Really?
Yes. Okay.
I learned something today.
Yeah. So that's, it took me a while. I'm like trying to figure it out. And so
I just got to make sure that I shut down my gangster rap before I click that button.
The issue with that is, and I don't know if it's for every situation, because when I'm teaching, I've got my handy dandy, podcast microphone plugged in. Once I shared the computer sound, they can hear the video, and now I am on some horrible, loop of echo. So you have to like mute yourself when you're showing the video, or it's horrific on their end. So,
I can't MST3K it. That's good to know.
No, there's no MST3K it.
For those of you with friends, that stands for Mystery Science Theater 3000.
That's for 20% of the audience
video as you watch it.
At best, yes. So, yes, no, call out their names. What are the robots' names? Robot, roll call. What is it?
It was Tom Servo.
Uh-huh.
Crow.
Nice.
And what's the third one? Oh, shoot.
I don't know. I know, but don't worry about what they eat and sleep and other stuff. Nope. Just remember it's a TV show. And you just relax. That's probably one of the best. Show. That's probably one of the best theme song lyrics going.
It's great advice. All right.
So related to that, I taught my kids that I just learned this week that probably a lot of people like. There's so many things with tech that for like someone it's a complete revelation. And other people, it's like I knew that like 5 years ago. That's so stupid. Why are you telling me that?
Get on my level.
Right. But the, spacebar unmute feature on Zoom. Are you familiar with that one?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's one you knew. I didn't know. And a handful of my kids that didn't know it, that weren't actually speaking because, finding the unmute thing on them where you have to, where's that blue button and it goes away. They just didn't, it was just annoying to them where they didn't feel comfortable doing it. And I'm like, oh no, if you just push the space bar and say, I'm here, or the answer is 7, and then let go of the space bar, you're good. So, that's like one of those tips that I think that a lot of people know, but then there's still probably maybe 25 or 30% of people that had no idea. Go ahead. What were you going to say beforehand?
Oh, well, that reminds me of something else before I move on to my
cool
question. I have a student who I think is struggling with that, but the problem is they don't speak any English. So they log into my classroom, and I say hi, and they just sit there and smile at me. And they don't do anything, but they stay for the entire class every day. All right, and I'm like, I don't even know if they can hear me, but every day when I say, okay, everybody, goodbye, they wave and leave. I'm like, all right, how did you... And this happens to me a lot. Kids who are just muted, and I try to call on them, and they don't respond, and their cameras are off, and they're just... never there, but somehow magically the word goodbye makes them perk up and they can all hear it and leave at the same time. Weird how you missed the directions for the last hour and a half, but bye-bye just pierces through all the ignorance.
I'm going to put this out as a theory. They see the other kids in the gallery disappearing, and then they go, oh, bye. They're on their phone or they're doing whatever they're doing that is going on. Right. So, yeah. So
let me toss the question back to you, Mealey. How's the year going? So you're teaching 12th grade now.
Yes. So I'm teaching,
and you have an interesting setup there. But if you don't want to go into that, I get it.
What setup? What are you talking about?
Your class sizes.
Oh yeah. So there's some news in that aspect. So we were short a teacher at my school. So there's really substitute teaching is really not a thing that's happening virtually, at least not in our area. I don't know if other places are doing it, but
substitute teaching means post a worksheet.
Yes, they put 50. It was 58. Now it's 59 kids in one class. And so what they did was, though, they gave me an assistant. So the person whose normal job is to be the assistant in the library, and there's no kids coming to the library, they gave her as my assistant, which was nice because one of the biggest things was her taking attendance. And it was nice. It was really nice having that assistant because she handled the annoying time suck things. So kids would ask her in the chat, what link are we supposed to be on, or what just happened, or what were we supposed to be, all those questions that you just get asked. And if you have 59 kids, it's going to get asked so many times. Right. So they knew they could just ask her, or if they asked it to everyone in the chat, she would be like, oh, here's the code for the Ed puzzle, here's the code for the quizzes, here's the blah, 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 blah. You're supposed to be working independently now, whatever the answer to the innocuous question was. And then she would also take attendance for me, which was really awesome.
I mean, for 60 kids virtually, attendance, that's
all I would do. So they have now, they found someone else to take, the other half of the class. And so now I'm coordinating with them, and trying to, the challenge was to catch them up to where I am at. The fact that it's just me and her is working pretty good. It's just this week so far. So we'll see. It's easier to own the Zoom than it is to own the room.
You think it's easier to own the Zoom?
Yeah, the mute button.
It's easier to kick kids out, definitely.
It doesn't matter as much if you don't own the Zoom. The class is not going to get out of control. You know what I mean? That's true. They'll just not pay attention.
I will say that about this school year. It's such a reverse in terms of my time. I'm working probably more hours than I would in a normal school year.
Mm-hmm.
But all my time is to prep, and I have just spent really almost no time or energy on classroom management because the kids who misbehave don't show up.
Right.
I mean, if they don't want to be there, nobody can force them to be.
Yeah. And their misbehavior, the acting out and talking to their neighbor, which is probably the roughest thing in the classroom, is like having kids not talk to their neighbor,
Right.
And that's,
or get out of their seat.
And
what am I going to do?
Right. Yeah. So there's none of that going on. You know what I mean? There's kids sometimes in my classes that are making jokes in the chat, and I don't care. As long as it's not inappropriate, that's fine. Right. You want to say something there. I know some teachers probably have the chat feature just turned to private. Did you?
Yeah, completely. I'm like, okay. You don't need to send me anything. If you need to chat with me, send me an email. You know how to.
Yeah.
You can message me in the online platform.
Well, in the classes where I didn't have, and now I don't have because they've split up my class down, so I've only got 30 kids. Mm-hmm. I'm like, hey, the link is on Canvas to go to such and such assignment. Can someone just post the link in the chat? And
that's cool.
And then the kids post the link in the chat, and then the other kids can go there, and it's taken care of for me. So there's a lot of, I utilize it that way. But there's also a lot of in the chat for me, since I've got seniors as well. I've got kids, I've got to go to work at 1:30. Can I go? And I'm like, yeah, just see you, man. Have a good one. Yeah, the assignment's posted and you're going to do what you need to do. So, I'm enjoying it. I'm still finding connections with kids. I'm still laughing. I'm still, doing it. And in terms of the time, I'm getting insane amounts of emails of kids that are the kids have now learned how to use email really well. And so it's like, I was absent because of this.
They know how to send emails. They don't know how to write them.
No. And I don't, nor do I.
Please capitalize your name?
Capital letters are for the bourgeoisie, okay? Power to the proletariat, okay?
I don't shift.
Yes, no. The good thing is there's no cap locks on Chromebook, so they can't do that, so,
Oh, that's cool.
But what was I going to say? No, I'm getting emails like, oh, I got bumped off the internet. Can you mark me present? I turned this in. Can you please grade it? Such and such and such. I don't, so many things. I don't even know what, but they just are just emailing a lot. That question that you would normally just ask after class on your way out is now coming to me in an email. So my emails are insane. So
if I have a handout, okay, so I have this handout. Okay, so where am I going to host it? Okay, so I figured out I'm going to post it here. Okay, can they edit it and manipulate it there? All right, so if not, where can I post it so they can edit it and manipulate it? Okay, now where are they going to turn it in? Because now they need to turn it in.
Yes.
So now I got to find another place for them to be able to turn it in. Okay, and then I need to give them comments, right? I might not grade everything.
Right.
Because I don't know about you, but they've slowed down how much we should grade in our grade book, which is throwing off everybody's grades.
Oh, well, our grade book's I paid attention and I downloaded a PDF of my grade book, but we have kids who are full virtual and kids who are going to be in hybrid eventually. And they shifted those kids in my school personally.
Doesn't that reset all of their grades?
Yes, so all those grades disappeared.
My goodness.
You can go back individually.
I have a nosebleed.
You can go back individually into each kid, I think, and look up historical grades, and one by one go through each kid and enter their grades. If you
that sentence gave me
are a
ulcer.
masochist, yeah.
No.
Yeah. So
huge sweeping changes.
Yeah. So, which was funny because they did that literally as the district was announcing that there was no need to do that for the high school kids because they're going to be virtual for the entire semester. But they didn't get that information in time because everyone at the same time that the school board was making decisions on how our particular district is going to do a phasing in of elementary through middle through high school over the course of the first semester.
And I talked to my students about that too. We were talking about doing that hybrid setup. Few kids come in each week and whatnot. And I was asking them, like, how do they feel about it? What did they think about it? Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, would we be expected to do anything different in the classroom? And I said, no, I can't make you do anything different. I need to give everybody, like, the same education. Maybe not the same lesson, but, like, the same education. I said, this would basically be so that way we can make sure kids are getting food and medicine, and some of them are getting watched so parents can work.
Yeah, and I've talked to different...
This has nothing to do with you.
No, I've talked to different people about how it's working in their district and stuff like that on the Twitter. And some of them are expected to have Zoom or Google Meets or whatever open, but yet to walk around the classroom as if they were teaching the other kids in the class. Cause my plan honestly would be, hey, there's 23 kids at home and 7 of them here. You 7, here's headphones. I'll probably buy like a class set of headphones. Here's headphones. Jump on Zoom and it's going to be the same thing we've been doing for the past however long.
Goodness, mute yourself.
Yes.
But that's the thing. They're going to ask a good question in class, and they're going to be muted so that way there's not that echo effect, and then you're going to have to repeat that question into your computer so the rest of the class can hear it, and then you can answer it.
If there's a good way to do it, and you think that you're awesome at it, please, please, please hit us on Twitter at unprocast, or email us at unprofessionaldevelopmentpodcast@gmail.com, or I don't know.
One of us created the name for the Twitter, and one of us created the name for the email.
Yes, stupid face with your, we just really need to make unprocast@gmail.
In my defense, nobody had taken that Gmail before, so...
Yes, exactly. No one had taken that Gmail, yes. Yes. It's right next to the property in Chernobyl that no one's buying, okay?
Okay. So speaking of virtual stuff, I will say one thing that I found does really help with my students, even with my honors kids, even with the smart kids, just to help them focus and pay attention. Whenever I give directions, anytime I give directions, even if it's for the simplest dang thing, I share my screen and I show them.
Yes.
I'm like, don't click anything. Watch my screen. See how I did that? Good. Go do it.
Yes.
And that gets all done.
A little more success than nothing, yes.
Yes. Because even if you're giving basic directions, hey, open up a document. No, you're going to get like 50% of the kids.
Well, that's the equivalent of do problems 7, 6, 14, 24, and 30 on the worksheet. And I write it big and I circle it, do these, and I put the look with the eyeballs and the arrow, and then there's some kid, he's doing every single problem on there. Like, oh, we didn't only have to do so, I mean,
I was that kid in school.
Yeah. I mean, it helps. I'm that kid as well. I think we've had this conversation. When I get sent to the, grocery store by my wife or you buy your, français, what's the chances that
French word we know today?
Yes. Menage a trois? Okay.
Nope. All right, maybe not every French word.
What are the chances that you come home with the right things from the grocery store? If it's 5 items,
take pictures. All right, because it has to be the right brand.
Yes.
With the right color label.
Yeah. So that's where you have to have that empathy for that kid, that when you get frustrated with that kid that you're like, I can't believe you didn't write your name in the right place, or you didn't do this really basic thing. And it's like, oh, Remember when your wife told you to take that chicken down from the freezer and just stick it in the refrigerator so we could have food tomorrow? And you just ate a cookie when you were in the kitchen instead of, oh, there's cookies over here.
And you said, why am I here?
Yes.
Must have been for me.
Yes, must be the cookies. That's why I'm here.
Oh, I love that.
Oh.
And now for a word from our sponsors.
Hey guys, this is an advertisement. A commercial if you want to know what it is.
And they do.
So this is especially for you folks in North Kakalaki and South Kakalaki. You have a house, you have a car, you have life. What do you need? You need insurance. You go, you know what? If I could buy my insurance from a former teacher, that's what I'd like to do. Hey, Tudisco, do you know anyone that has a business selling insurance who used to be a teacher?
You know I do, and I think you do too. Pimentel?
Yeah, he used to teach with us, but he doesn't anymore. And apparently there's some guy Garcia that he knows. So they've got insurance. You need insurance. There's a link in the show notes.
You know, we're all kind of looking at bottom line. We're looking at what's going to help us, what's going to be easiest. Check it out. Talk to them. Get a quote, and they will help you out.
And it's at Pimentel, Pimentel, Garcia.com. So you can email them that info. You can go to the website, or you can call 704-272-3535. It's all listed in the show notes. Swipe down and click, baby. You're there. And then get your insurance from a teacher, not from some weird lizard or from some ball guy who says bubba dubba dubba da da da. No, you don't want that. You want it from a teacher. That's where you want your insurance.
When you call up Pimentel Garcia Insurance, make sure you tell them you heard it from us. And now, back to the show.
Okay, so Tudisco has something he really wants to debate. Are we good on? Yes, we're good to. Next segment, boys and girls. Okay. By the way, you've gotten lazy on putting that in the middle of the episode, just so you know. Or are you just tired of doing it?
Oh, I stopped putting that in the middle of the episode, like episode 3. It just breaks things up. Like I don't see reason.
That's the point, to break things up. I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
I like it to feel more natural.
More natural?
More natural conversation.
Okay.
And there are some times when we do just have a conversation that does pretty much flow continuously.
Yes.
And so I don't want to like break it up, but I don't want to just separate certain ones out.
That's cool. Anyway, what's the debate, Tudisco?
Okay, so here was the question I threw out to Mealey. And I really wanted to hear his take on it because I feel like we have 2 different answers. And the question is this. If you have a student who comes in and is intentionally failing, so like they come in and like you give them a test and they just intentionally bubble in nothing or bubble in random stuff and just don't try, what do you do? So
I'm going to say it varies on where in the semester we are and what I've been doing. Okay? If it's like the first unit, I'm probably having a conversation with the kid. If it is the 4th or 5th unit, I'm horrible.
This is just their MO?
Yeah, I'm done. You know, I'm going to cover my butt. I'm going to make the phone call home. I'm going to alert whoever I'm supposed to tell in administration, whatever the I's I need to dot and T's I need to cross, so that when this kid fails my class, that I've shown that I've done everything that I'm supposed to do. And not just, so I do it for 2 reasons. A, because I think that's the right thing to do. I should be making an effort and I shouldn't be just bailing on a kid. But also I know, as someone who doesn't want to get in trouble and someone who doesn't want to deal with that stuff and someone who knows that there are times that people will go, well, okay, here's the loophole. The rules say that these things were supposed to be done in order for a kid to fail the class, to put him as preventive measures so the kids don't fail the class. And they're put in with the spirit of those measures is good. The application of those measures can be less than good.
Right.
But I sometimes be just like, whatever. I have more than once taken a kid's paper that was on his desk, and when I picked it up, wrote his name on it so that I had a test with nothing written on it, but with their name on it, because they would not even write their name on it. Yeah. Have you ever done that? And tell us what you would do.
I don't think I've ever taken that for, like, documentation. I'm trying to think. I feel like there's been a time where I've definitely like taken a photo of a kid sleeping just to have it documented.
Yeah. I sent one to their dad one time. That was good.
Right. Oh, yeah. And you can't, of course, share that or post that anywhere, you know.
What? Go to like sleepingstudents.com. It's a new website we're opening up, okay? Unprofessional Development Podcast, sleepingstudents.com at gmail.net.
/URL.
Yes.
So, all right. So here's the struggle I have with those students, though.
Okay.
So what they want to do, like their efforts are, like they're going to do whatever it takes to do as little work as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because they don't care about failing your class.
Right.
Okay. So in my mind, then I need to give them a logical consequence. Right? They're misbehaving. Right?
Yes.
Which, you know, like literally, they are just not behaving in a proper manner.
No.
Right?
Right. There's an expectation that you make an effort on this test, and they're not doing it. Yes.
Right. And so they need a logical consequence. And I've always found like the most logical consequence for those kids is you find the time, hopefully before or after school, so that way, you know, it's more of a punishment. And you sit them down and you force them to take it. You force them to try. All right. And this works for essays too, for the kids who are like, nope, I'm not going to write one. Like, you just need to find a way to just sit them down and say, this is what you are doing. And of course, like, you can't twist their arm. You can't pick up the pencil for them.
No.
But for a lot of them do fold because they want the least work possible. Like, if that's their MO, then they know that if they just do this, I'll get off their back and leave them alone. And they'll hate me, usually in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, because you have that option. You can give them a 0 and move on with your day.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can take the time to push them, right, and put them in that uncomfortable position so that way they have to do it. Okay. And I find that gets... that's at least more of the logical consequence, and that gets more results.
So here's the follow-up question to that. Have you reached a breaking point with any kid ever?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You know, it's nice to leave the 99 and go chase down the one that's, you know, strayed from the herd. Mm-hmm. But then there's other times where it's like, if I go chase the one, then the 99 is going to suffer, and I may or may not be able to get the one back to the herd, or when I bring them back to the herd, they're going to just run off again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, at some point you need to call it.
Right.
I mean, it's you got to balance that out, and you can't burn yourself out for the one kid.
Right. And 100%. It's not that we don't think that kid has value. Not that we don't think that kid should be doing it, but our job doesn't allow us to do that. We only have so much time, energy, resources that I can't just, you know, this is not a TV movie. I am not going to like go in the rain.
That kid had a tango.
Right. I'm not going to show up in the rain, you know, on the, you know,
with a composition notebook saying, write this down.
Yes. You know what I mean? And, you know, and say, you know, here I am, you know, because I'm your savior, and, you know, I'm coming to your house, and you're going to end up being the next whatever because I did this, you know, but hurry up and finish because it's still raining and I got to go to like 6 more kids' houses tonight.
If the rain lightens up, just hire another kid to like stand behind you to like pull out the ladder with like a little water bucket.
By the way, I had never watched, and I had heard so much good stuff about Stand and Deliver. And it finally came on Netflix, and I watched it. Oh, it's not that good. It's really not. I don't know if it was just like water in a desert for some of these teachers, but I'm like, okay, like this is, I am not impressed by, that movie. So sorry for all you Stand and Deliver, stands out there. I use Stan, by the way. Look at me being so hip, huh?
I think that movie stands out and we're not going to spend too much time at Stand and Deliver.
Do you stand and deliver, or do you not?
It's fine. I think it stands out for 2 reasons. Number one, it's a true story. And people like that it's a true story. And number 2, it's not one of those teaching movies. So teaching movies I found fall under 2 genres, usually. Okay. All right. Typical teaching movies are either white teacher comes in and helps minority children.
The white savior. Yes. Dangerous Minds, which I'm not a huge fan of either.
Right.
Even though I love Coolio.
And Freedom Writers and so many other movies just fall into that genre.
Mm-hmm.
Or they fall under coaching movie. So
Yes.
like basically a sports movie. So like or a dance movie, right?
Yes.
Where it's the same sort of thing as any other sports movie, but it's set in the high school.
Yeah.
Right. And that's almost
or the
every
ridiculous
movie about
or the ridiculous comedy movie, which I generally prefer.
Yes, and then there's the bad teacher movie too. That's right.
Yes.
You're right. There's a third genre of just a teacher who's bad at teaching. Ha ha ha.
Right.
Funny.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's it. And so I guess that's why it's definitely considered one of the better teaching movies out there.
Okay. Had my expectations too high, but I went in and watched it, and I was not
I mean,
super
it's
impressed.
not phenomenal.
No, it's not.
I'm still waiting for like a really good teacher movie.
Well, do you want to give me like your 2-minute elevator pitch on what a really good teacher movie would be? Do you have one?
It would be like, all right, so we have Office Space, which just perfectly encapsulates what it's like to be working in an office, right?
Which I've never
we
seen,
have
yes.
Waiting, which perfectly encapsulates what it's like to be a waiter.
Okay.
No?
Is that a movie too? I've never seen that. Waiting? Oh, cool.
Waiting, yeah.
Nope. Oh, you're
And
too
so
hip for
they're
me.
just
Okay,
movies
you're
where,
too
like,
cool.
if you did that job, you're like, oh my god, yes, that's it. Like, that's what I want for teaching. I want a job that actually encapsulates what it's like to be a teacher and what different types of teachers are, and just
Okay.
slice of life teacher
Okay.
movie.
You want Unprofessional Development, the movie, is what you want.
I want 6 seasons in a movie if I'm
You want
professional
6 seasons in a movie.
development. But I'll settle for the one movie, yes.
Yeah, settle for the one movie. Okay.
Thank you,
cool.
Hollywood. $1 million, please.
Yes. All right. Have we settled that debate? Or are we still in the debate?
I guess, yeah, where we fall is just teachers just need to know where their own personal cutoff is.
Yeah. I don't
And we
think we're as opposed as we were on, if you want a good debate, go to the whatever episode. It's something 0.5, I think. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
11.5, I think. Yeah.
I think it is. Yeah. The effort versus ability debate. Like that's a really good debate. But yeah, I think we're just on different parts of the spectrum where I'm a little more inclined to go, whatever, you know.
It's like when you're, the movies where someone's mountain climbing and somebody just is falling, slacking on the rope. Like, you gotta pick a point where you cut them loose or else they drag everybody down.
Right.
And
right.
sometimes if you have a kid who's just aggressively sleeping every single day, I mean, that's not an issue for you. That's an issue for a parent. That's an issue for a therapist.
Yeah.
I mean, that's beyond you.
Right. And that is the thing, that we can't solve every single problem. And there may be a teacher that can, and you might be the teacher sometimes that kid comes in and you're it. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's a timing thing. Sometimes it's a personality thing, that all of a sudden this kid, like, you are the cure to what ails them. But a lot of times you're not, and the cure to what ails them, like you said, it's therapy. It's a situation at home. It's medicine, whatever it is. And it's like, I love you. I hope you figure it out, but I'm trying to figure it out with you, but I can't. Yeah. You know? And the interesting thing is, and I don't know how much this happens in middle school. What happened to me a decent amount in high school was I have had at least every year, and a lot of kids fail my class. Normally it's less than 10%, but kids fail my class, and you go, you failed them.
They go out of their way and really try to.
I mean, it's not an easy thing to do in Mr. Mealey's class. You know what I mean? But they still love me. It's so weird. You know, I'll see them like the next year, like, I loved your class. I'm like, thank you. Maybe if you'd like done like 3 more things, you know, more than 0, then maybe you could have passed my class. But, okay.
When I have kids failing, I will conference with them, and it's tough to do now. But I will conference with them and meet with them and tell them everything they need to do to pass, and tell them they can do it, and then leave it up to them. And so I have had a lot of kids come back to me and say, like, oh, I loved your class. I'm like, you failed my class. Like, yeah, but that was my fault.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Cool.
Oh, speaking of that, I definitely have done this once this year, and I plan on doing it again in another week or two, and I used Ed Puzzle, actually. So I gave the kids a 20-minute Ed Puzzle, and then where I just did my lesson, and then 20 minutes of independent practice or something like that. And then I said, I'm putting all of you in solo breakout rooms. And I put them all in one breakout room, a breakout room of one, which confused kids. The ones that weren't listening, they're like, Mr. Mealey, I was in a breakout room and there was no one else there. I'm like, yeah, that's what I just said I was going to do, but okay. Hello! Talking to you. Yes, you're going to go in a breakout room all by yourself, but I'm coming to visit you. I don't know when. I gotta visit everybody, but I'm coming to visit you. And so then I just did that little, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. So, and just kind of, develop that rapport and say, hey, this is what you're missing. Hey, you're doing awesome. Let's just keep it awesome. Is there anything that's going on that in life that you wanted to share with me or tell me or blah, blah, blah? Just kind of develop that relationship that, the virtual version of like, I'm stopping by your desk to, just kind of check in with you.
Mm-hmm. That's a smart idea. I've done things where I've had just one breakout room and I'll be in it. And so I'll just pull kids. But I'm always afraid of doing that because I don't want to leave a big group of kids unmonitored.
Yeah. I think you're better off having them all go in their own breakout room rather than just leaving the Zoom for 45 minutes. Yeah, I think that would be bad because it's going to break loose. That's when that kid who gets out of his seat and does the stuff is like, oh, it's on now. It's time for my show. Come on. I'm going to get up and sing and dance and tell jokes and,
put on
show
my favorite episode of Breaking Bad and turn up the volume.
Yeah. I mean, there's a teacher, I don't know where this goes in the podcast, but a teacher friend of mine that this kid, speaking of shutting down the chat, he keeps on posting links to porn sites in the chat and asking the teacher to click on the link to can you please go to this link? I think it'd be good for the class. Yes. So that's a thing that could happen while you were in a room by yourself for 40 minutes with the kids. So I'd put them all in their own room. So this next segment, I'm like Mr. Segment Introducer today. So I'm on the Twitter at Unprocast. Please follow us.
It could be longer.
Yes, it could. Actually, Twitter won't let it be longer, Stupid Face.
Really?
Okay. No, there's a limit. Okay. Yes. Unprofessional Development Podcast. No. So I'm on the Twitter and I'm on there literally every day. Okay. So.
And just so it can be known and documented for if we ever wind up in court, I don't know what he's posting or saying.
Yes. So 5,267 times I've tweeted since February or March, whenever I started. So, that's 5, a lot.
5,000?
Yes.
Since February.
Yes.
All right.
So yeah. Okay. So I'm on the Twitter, baby.
It's only hold on. So that's over 1,000 a month.
Probably. Yeah.
Which is about over 100 a day.
No.
No, over 10.
There's not 10 days. They're not 10 days in a month. No, let's say.
Math is hard.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. You guys do the math. Turning that in, yes. Tweet me at Unprocast what the answer to that math question is.
Now email us at Unprofessional Development Podcast. No, just Unprofessional Development Cast, right?
Yeah, who cares? I don't put the link in the show notes, you moron.
I can't even remember the damn email.
No, we're changing that at some point. Okay.
Yeah, eventually. When we make it big,
Yeah. So I tweeted and it went semi-viral. There have been 60,000 interactions, close to 300 replies to this tweet or something like that. I don't know what it is. But anyway, so it was basically a writing prompt and it said, what song lyric describes your teaching philosophy or your teaching style? So what song lyrics that describe your teaching philosophy or your teaching style? And so I guess we should have come up with our own answers to this, and maybe we will if it strikes us. But we're going to share some of our favorites from some of our followers or people whatever that have interacted with us on this. So go ahead with one or two of some of the ones that you appreciated.
All right. There was one here by Maria Picado.
Okay.
At Maria and Picado.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, for this year, it's Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer.
There you go. Very
absolutely it is.
Yes, it is.
Well said, Maria.
Yes. Do you have another one?
Oh, I got a bunch.
Cool. Here's just another one. Then I'll jump on after that.
At Linda PG 711.
711, cool.
She said, going off the rails on a crazy train.
Yes, Ozzy. Okay. So this is going back, and this teacher, at Dana Teaches Third, who by the way is, going to be recording with us on Halloween. Okay. Yes. So she has kind of taken a 90s. I should know the name of the person that sang this song. But anyway, she modified it for her take, so you'll hear it. So I want to rock right now. I teach third grade and I came to get down. I'm not internationally known, but I'm known to rock the microphone because I get stupid. I mean outrageous. Stay away from me if you're contagious.
Bars. Wouldn't that Run DMC?
No, that's not Run DMC. I know it's not Run DMC, and I don't think it's Salt and Pepper, but I don't know. But I do know. But I do know the song. Yes. Yeah.
It's been a hot minute since I heard that song.
Yes. Go for another one.
Paula Abbott at Dixie Lily said, gave us some Paul Simon.
Nice.
The classic, when I look back on all the crap I learned in high school, it's a wonder I can even think at all.
Beautiful. Paul Simon is a stinking genius. If you're not listening to Paul Simon, then you have no heart and soul. Okay.
Or you're under 30.
Or you're under 30. Yes. He actually is kind of like the epitome of nerdy cool. You know what I mean? Like,
I love Paul Simon.
Yes. He's very nerdy, but he's also cool. You know what I mean?
I grew up on, and I don't know if I ever shared this with you, when, little Tudisco rant.
Okay.
When I was but a youngin'.
Uh-huh.
My parents.
Was it you and Julio down by the schoolyard?
No. I don't know a Queen of Corona, thank you.
Okay.
That would be not the time to know one.
No.
So my parents had a long commute to work, and they'd have to, take me with them,
Mm-hmm.
because I was too young to be left home alone. And so it was an hour drive each way.
Okay.
And so my dad was driving. He would always play, the sounds of the 70s. And so it was just, nonstop disco hits. It was terrible.
Oh, no.
And when my mom would drive, she only had 3 cassettes.
Cool.
2 of them were Simon and Garfunkel.
Wow.
And the other one was just a series of Pachelbel's Canon played by different orchestras.
I have no idea what that is. Okay, cool. Okay.
So
wow. So,
yeah.
But what about Graceland?
Nope. That one wasn't on there.
Oh.
It was the greatest hits, and I don't remember what the other one was. Maybe Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme.
Or not live in Central Park?
No, she got that CD later on in my life, though.
Okay, because that's a good one. All right.
That is a good one.
So the guy passing out loose J's and the blah, blah, blah.
Is donating all of his cash. That was a great joke.
Yes. And have you ever seen Paul Simon dressed up like a bee singing Still Crazy after all these years on Saturday Night Live?
I have not.
Oh.
I've seen him on SNL a bunch.
Yes.
He is friends with Lorne Michaels.
Yes. So on really early on, like Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd days, he came out there and was dressed up as a bee because that was like a running gag on the early SNL and sang Still Crazy after all these years.
I'm guessing this is around the time that Chevy Chase was on the music video for Call Me Al.
No, that's a huge gap. There's a huge gap between those. Yes.
Okay.
Call Me Al is like 86, 87, because that was when I was like a junior, senior in high school. And this is much earlier than that. This is definitely pre-1980. Yeah, I know. For those of you that are young like Tudisco, I'm sure some of those years just kind of are mashed together.
Tudisco's
as
not
one
even
thing.
young like Tudisco.
But it's kind of like us, like, in our mind, there was pretty much George Washington died literally 5 minutes before the Civil War, right?
Definitely. Maybe 10. And that was a little bit after Mesopotamia.
Slightly after Mesopotamia.
Right.
Yes.
And at some point, the Indus River Valley civilization was a thing, but who knows when.
Yes.
Also, samurai. See, I know history. Aced it.
Awesome.
Tom Cruise taught me everything I need to know.
Yes.
We have a guest coming in 10 minutes.
All right. We're almost there. I'm going to read one more. And I wish I knew what this song is from. I guess I could just Google it and find out. But this is 10% luck, 20% skill, 50% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name. And that's from @DebbieTeachSecond. Do you know that song?
I do not.
Okay. Okay, and I'll read this other one. Then you can.
I got three more when you're done.
Cool. This one actually at Unprocast, which is another cool teacher podcast, and we may have him on our podcast at some point. We haven't firmed it up yet, but he quoted Jay-Z, and it said, "I can sell ice in the winter. I can sell fire in hell. I am a hustler, baby. I sell water to a well." Okay,
really
and so
towards the hip hop.
So if you are a really good teacher, he's saying that you can no matter what the kids want to know or want to care about, that he has the ability to teach them just about anything. So
if we can make kids care about, Shakespeare or math, that's impressive.
That's pretty much the same as selling water to a well.
Yes.
There's probably the difficulty level is roughly the same.
All right. So here's what I got. My last three. At Miss_N English gave us "Wake Me Up When September Ends."
Nice.
Followed up with "Then I might know your name and have remembered how to teach." We got Collaborative Genius or Collab Genius. Should I stay or should I go now?
There we
If I
go.
there
That's
will be
beautiful.
trouble. If I stay, it will be double.
Yes. And then you have to know, are they a true Clash fan or are they I heard that song on Stranger Things and now I like the Clash fan.
That song's been used in everything.
Yes.
You do not need to be a Clash fan to like that one.
No.
But it helps.
But there are lots of Clash fans that hate the fact that other people like that song. Because if you're a Clash fan...
I like the Clash before it was cool, man.
Yes. I know songs you've never heard of about the Clash. From some bootleg that you didn't even know existed. Okay.
That's like, I can recognize Tom Sawyer and that's it. And I know people who worship Rush. And I don't get it.
Oh, because they're the best three-man band ever, and because, I told you, because Neil Peart is a huge Ayn Rand fan, of which maybe you're not. Okay.
I'm not.
Okay. So, Invisible Airwaves crackle with life. All right.
All right, last one I got. You ready?
Go ahead, yep.
And our final one, at Day 1, Week 1, gave us "So tempted to quote Ice Cube, ain't nobody talking when I'm talking, fellas."
Nice. That's beautiful. That's good stuff. That's like literally put that on when we're back in real life, in person's class. Put that up on your board. You know what I mean?
Well, before that, just make it your virtual background.
Yes.
Big quote, and I just duck down whenever they're talking.
Yes. Well, that's all we've got. I have no idea what we talked about for the past hour, but we did. And, we love you, Unprofessionals. We really appreciate, speaking of Twitter, we have 2,300 followers. So I assume at least 3 of them are listening to this podcast. So,
math.
So
that's 100 followers a day for 7 months. If my math is correct, is my math correct?
I'm pretty sure I am bigger than the king of some countries. Okay.
Oh, definitely. I mean, at least height-wise. Inbreeding really stunts the growth.
It does. Yes. What's that little country somewhere where no one ever goes there and the natives just shoot arrows at them whenever helicopters get close? You know what I'm talking about?
I know there are some tribes in Brazil that are protected, that are isolated like that. And I think there's one tribe in India that's isolated like that as well.
I forget where this place is, but they have no corona in their place, by the way, just so you know. But they're 100% corona free. But as soon as a helicopter comes, they're like shooting the arrow through the pilot's throat and it crashes in the ocean.
Tribes like that will appear in the news when they kill Christian missionaries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take one for the team. But what was my original point? I have no idea. Oh, we appreciate you guys. And we love our listeners. We're glad you're not shooting us in the throat with arrows. And that, just please continue to share the podcast with your friends and your neighbors and your relatives and, take a bar of soap and write unprofessional development on the window of your car and, tell Banksy, get with it. Let's make an unprofessional development thing, Banksy. What are you doing? Don't
we have our backs?
Yes.
Care about the teachers in America?
It's for the children.
You as a graffiti artist in England. Isn't he in England? Isn't he based in England?
We don't know where he is. He's everywhere. He's everybody.
Everywhere.
Okay. I love Banksy. I really am a huge Banksy fan. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And he's even got a cool name. I like the name Banksy. Okay.
I did like his stunt where he sold a painting for like $2 million and then shredded it instantly.
Yes, that was sweet. That was sweet. That was good stuff. Alrighty, so that's it. Stay unprofessional.